Right. Okay, should be live. Let me just double check in on here. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, we are live. So if you're coming in, give me a hello. If you're on replay, drop a replay in below. I'll just check that you can all hear me okay. Hopefully you can. Double check. Yeah, you're in. Perfect. I'll just check that you can. Let me make that smaller. Right. So we are ready to rock. Right. So let's get these questions up. By the way, if you are coming in, put one in the comments and I will go over that. So let's get these questions up. Some great questions as ever. Let me get them up. Some collagen. Yeah, the lot. Right, let's rock and roll in it. Questions. Give me a hello if you're coming in, by the way. Let's get these questions going. So first questions. Are all proteins equal? There seems to be categories of carbs and sugars, but not proteins. Are mushrooms as proteiny as chicken? So, Louise, what I would say with this, if you refer to the meal maker, which I will get up and show you. So where mushrooms are a vegetable, they actually don't contain much carbohydrate, much protein at all. So if I was to show you on here, the reason, I just share my screen, I'll just make this a bit bigger. So you'll see on here, there's a list of protein sources. Now, you might look in there and go, right, tuna, salmon, chicken, beef, steak, prawns. So you'll see that the majority of that is meat, dairy, and fish. Now, the reason why, if you scroll across here, in the carb section, you'll see lentils, beans. But then if you go to the vegetarian one, you'll be like, well, how come lentils and beans are in protein sources? And that's because proteins aren't equal. They're far from. Not all protein is equal. Protein is made of amino acids. Okay, so you have essential amino acids and you have branched chain amino acids. Now, the ones with the essential amino acids in, and more specifically, the ones leucine, isoleucine, these are found in more meat, fish, eggs, dairy, in higher amounts. If you're vegan, vegetarian, tofu as well, you'll see it's in there. That's because these are called complete proteins, and a complete protein contains all the amino acids you need to repair, build muscle, skin, hair, nails, you name it. Now, it's a bit like, I describe it like building a wall, okay? If to build a wall, you need a complete protein, that's the wall. If there's some missing, you're gonna need to get them in from elsewhere. So a vegetarian could get a complete protein by mixing beans and cheese. So beans and cheese, for example. It could get a complete protein through tofu. You could get a complete protein or closer to complete protein by mixing pulses like lentils, beans, legumes. However, you could also get complete protein by just having something like tuna, chicken, beef. That contains all the amino acids you need in there. So in terms of mushrooms and vegetables, yeah, they don't contain the essential amino acids. They contain some, but not the essential ones in enough amounts and quantities. So that's why when we say protein every meal, we're looking at this and we're like, as you can see in here, quite clearly, these are quality protein sources that contain all the amino acids. If we're getting these in, hey Masita, if we're getting all these in, then that's going to be perfect in on there. So I hope that makes sense on there. Does that make sense on there? Does that answer the question? Hey Sandra, how are we doing? Hey Masita, how are we? So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, in essence, there are proteins are not made equal with that. So I hope that makes sense. So always look at that Kickstart book. That will give you a good idea of kind of what to look out for on there. So next question. Okay, interesting to know if one nut butter is preferable in terms of calories or other benefits than the other type. Some recipes specify almond butter. Is there a reason peanut butter would be worse or better in some way? There's minimal to no difference, if I'm honest, other than taste and preference. That's it. Also, almond butter might be double the price. So if you want to go for peanut butter, fine. I know some people, obviously, the only thing I would say is some people have issues with legumes like IBS, things like that, and they might find that plug this in. They might find that they do better from a gut point of view, like IBS, having almond butter than peanut butter, simply because peanut butter is a legume, so peanuts are legumes. So that might be an issue there. I actually tend to find almond butter less moreish than peanut butter, but that's just me. And I'd consider with nut butters, like, yeah, how you use them, you've got to know you. Like for me, a nut butter, we talk about processed foods. Well, that's a processed food. And for me, I love the stuff so much that I'm like, I just kind of don't really have it in the house. Otherwise, I'll have everything with it. I can literally have it with everything. It almost makes me hungrier than before. Whereas if I don't have it in the house, I'll probably save a few hundred calories easily each day. Things like Greek yogurt just tend to satisfy me more, but that's me. And they're higher in protein as well. But there's nothing wrong with them. That's why we use them in the recipes as well. They can be a good source of nutrition when used to portion. So go for preference on there. They're pretty much like for like with that. Let's get the next one up. Okay. Next question. So if you have any questions, by the way, Sandra, Nasita, let me know. Next question. Multivitamins and absorption. Renata asks, why do some say on the back to take with food and others say to take with water? And aren't some fat soluble and others not? Hence, isn't it just better to take with a meal that contains fats and a glass of water, and then you've covered all bases? Judy also said, I've read somewhere some supplements shouldn't be taken together. So yeah, so you're right. So some are fat soluble, and what that means is, so take vitamin D, K, A, for example. They're fat soluble, so they are absorbed in with fat. However, you've also got to remember that a lot of food takes a while to digest. So unless you're fasted, I wouldn't see really a problem with having it. One, two, you are just better, in my opinion, having it with a meal, because food and meals contain a variety of nutrients. So you're very much used to having a variety of foods in a meal. So you've got to consider that, yeah, for me, that's the best option, is to take it not on an empty stomach, but with meals. However, if you're like me and you forget to take them, unless you have them first thing in the morning, then just have them first thing in the morning, like I do, if I'm honest. Because as the day goes on, I'm just in my day and I'll forget. So I either have them, so in the morning, I take creatine, vitamin D in the morning, then in the evening, I take magnesium. But if you were someone who was like, oh, I'm not doing twice, I just have them in one go. If I forget to take them in the morning, I have them in the evening. The reason I do magnesium in the evening is generally it does help with sleep, it does help with cramps, etc. But also, will it make a difference of it in the morning? Probably not. In terms of absorption and whether you should take vitamins and supplements together, you could read all day, would be my argument with this. There are nutrients that compete with each other. And this is where it gets interesting, because people talk about variety of foods, and it's great to do that. But if we're going into the detail of going, right, you shouldn't take some vitamins and supplements together because they can compete with each other. That's what food does anyway. That's what nutrients will do anyway. So, for example, no one really talks about the fact that a lot of plants and vegetables have anti-nutrients in. They have phytates in. Tea, coffee has tannins in. These are all foods that block and impact absorption of nutrients. And they can work well, for example, blocking absorption of cholesterol, which can be potentially have benefits, but they can work not so well, like blocking absorption of iron, for argument's sake, like tannins in tea and coffee, and some of the phytates in vegetables, and which sounds odd, but it can actually lower our absorption rates of certain nutrients like zinc as well. So it's quite interesting that, we have a variety of foods, but it's like, well, if we're worried about taking vitamins and minerals together because of competition, or should we be eating, if you look at the most bioavailable nutrients, like you've got say iron from red meat, omega-3 would be oily fish. Whereas, if you're having seeds, seeds omega-3, you're not really getting the DHA and EPA, which are the ones that you want. So I personally would not worry about, some vitamins competing. You're always going to get that, especially if you eat different foods. So what I would say though, is don't think you're getting enough calcium from spinach. You're not. I would supplement unless you're having sufficient dairy in your diet. I would supplement with calcium. Things like iron, if you don't eat red meat and you have a menstrual cycle, I'd probably recommend supplementing. B12, which is big at the moment. If you don't eat meat, fish, eggs, then you want to supplement with that as well anyway. And a multivitamin is quite a good insurance anyway, just as a bit of a backup. So I hope that helps. Can I do 2 days in a row, or is it better to have a rest day in between? That was a question I had today as well. So I always say this, but imagine you were to clone yourself. So let's say there's Matt 1 and there's Matt 2. Matt 1 is worried about training 2 days in a row. So what Matt 1 does is make sure I have a rest day in between. However, on the other day, I'm not sure I can always get there. I've got childcare, a bit busy. So I maybe go 2 1 week, then I do 1 the next, 1 the next, then I do 2, then I do 2 again, then I do 1, then I do 1. If you compare that to someone who did 2 sessions back to back, but they got it in every week, over the year, Matt 2, who does 2 sessions every week, let's say they didn't quite do double the session, they did a third more sessions over the year, they are going to be fitter, they're going to be stronger, they're going to be better than the person who did 1, maybe 2 the odd week, because quite simply, 1, they've been consistent, 2, they've done more sessions. My point being is, the key thing is what happens over time. Sometimes we think in short-term mindset, and I see where that comes from. Maybe athletes, lots of research in athletes will say, if you have a rest day in between, you'll perform better on the day after. That sounds cool, but when you look at the nitty-gritty and you look at the research, it's like their heart rate recovery improved by 0.0001%, and they knocked 0.1 second off their skio time, and they jumped 0.00001 millimeter higher. That's not real life. That's the thing. An athlete is looking for the 0.0001%. We're actually looking at what can we do with our lifestyles here, because actually that's how you're going to get the best results. The strive for perfection is often lowering the barrier. We strive for perfection and we aim to be perfect, but what we're actually doing is setting lower standards, because perfect never happens. So it actually means we lower the bar. I can't do perfect, so it's not really going to work for me, is it? And that's how we go. And then we're actually setting the lower standards that we can ever imagine by thinking that we're aiming for higher. Hope that helps. And that makes sense. Masita, your question, and you're on now, so that's great. So I'm going to share my screen, and there's actually a whole Q&A on collagen. So I won't delve into the whole part of this, but I'm going to share my screen now to go over collagen in terms of the key part on here. So let me get this up. Perfect. So maximise collagen. So many out there. Marine better than bovine? Question mark. Type 1, type 2, liquid, powder, which is better? So confusing, can be expensive. Absolutely. So it does depend on what. But in terms of joints, injuries, bovine, type 2 seems to be better. Skin, pretty much any collagen seems to have some benefit, whether you get it from B&M or someone selling it from the seaside in Bali or something like that. Topical is not recommended. The absorption is quite rubbish. For skin, avoiding smoking, drinking more water, getting adequate sleep and sunscreen should not be overlooked. Essentially, we're chasing collagen, but we're not even doing these things. Now, you might think, what's he on about? Sugar-free jelly and Ribena. If I just go back a little bit on here and look at some of the research. So this was a study. So they looked at here, healing in joints, gelatin and vitamin C. So gelatin, you've got to remember, is essentially collagen. Okay, so hydrolyzed collagen, that's what gelatin is. It's hydrolyzed collagen. It's so cheap. With vitamin C, you can potentially get circulating gelatin or collagen type 2, and with exercise it seems to go, you get blood flow to it. And then one of the problems is the absorption. Does it get to where it needs? How does it know? If you've got a dodgy shoulder, how do you know? How does it know it needs to go to your shoulder? Well, what they did in here is they did 6 minutes of skipping. So this is all about tendon strength. Then they did 15 grams of gelatin plus vitamin C. And this was to help the absorption with that. Now, again, this is another one in terms of collagen peptides with that as well. And it seems that 10 to 15 grams seems to be clinically significant. 5 to 10 may help, but a lot of these measures subjective. Now, I did a little price comparison here. You'll see on there, like a U-Perform, £2.26 per 6.3 grams of collagen, but it also contains zinc and vitamin C, which can help the bioavailability. You got the gelatin recipe, which is 350 ml Ribena, 8 grams of my protein collagen, link below. Gelatin sachets, water. You make that up as like a jelly, like a thick jelly. And then you've just got bovine collagen straight, and that's a bit cheaper. There's no vitamin C, but you could argue you can get vitamin C from food anyway, quite easily. You know, have some berries, or even just take a multivitamin with it. So that's what I would recommend with that. Does that make sense on there, Masita? I'll also link to the collagen Q&A on here, so you can have a little look at that as well. Would that be helpful, Masita? Hopefully that's helpful. So any questions on this? What I'll do is I will put all the questions to this in the description so that you can quite easily come back to this and find everything quickly. So any other questions at all? Any other questions? Remember, on Thursday, we are doing all about type 2 diabetes. So Thursday is all about type 2 diabetes. We're going to be going into the ins and outs of all of type 2 diabetes from a nutrition point of view, blood sugar, what you need to be aware of with that, and more, which is going to be Cool. So if you're in on there, I'll see that. I'm just making sure all the questions are in above so that we can easily find the answers to the questions we're after. So collagen, by the way, I've put the link to the collagen Q&A above here now. So you should be able to just grab that in straight away, really easily. And watch the whole thing where I break it down for you. Yeah, and then we're ready to rock and roll. So let's have a look. Any other questions on here? Type D better for joints. Yeah, that's it. Great, Sandra. Yeah, that's it. Bovine seems to be better. Awesome. Thank you for joining me in. Any questions as ever, do let me know. And I will see you later. Have an awesome evening. And we will rock and roll from there. Great. See you later. Take care. If you watch on replay as well, do drop it below and let me know if you have any questions at all. Speak soon. If you're in on Thursday, I'll see you then for diabetes, blood sugar levels, all of this good stuff. Take care.